Alright everyone, today is a special day because I'm headed down to Miami. If you've seen my videos for a couple of, I don't know, months, maybe weeks, maybe days, maybe you're a first time viewer, I live in Florida, but I don't live in Miami. I was born and raised in Miami, so really anytime that I can get a chance to go, I like to go, whether it be to visit my family, my immediate family, or my extended family. Today I'm going for something, you can say a little bit sad, but also a little bit, let's say, commemorative. I don't know if it's the right word, but it's the 1 year sort of celebration of my uncle passing. So I'm going to be meeting with some of my cousins and my parents to be able to celebrate his life and just remember some of the fond memories that we had with him. And I think that'll be a good time. You know, for me, family time is very important. That is something that the older I've gotten, I cherish more and more. It's funny because there's a lot of people maybe my age that are very career oriented, and while I think I am career oriented, especially for someone that works in tech, I'm not so gung-ho about working in the tippity top, in some of the best tech companies, because I'd rather stay close to home. Like, to me, that's more valuable. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing, and that's exactly what I have been doing for these past couple of years. So again, very excited to go see my family. I think it'll be a good time. I'm taking a different route today. I'm not headed to work. So I hope that it'll just be a good time. So there's a couple of other things that I want to talk about. There's Lilo and Stitch, and there's also Ghibli Fest 2025. Now, for a second there, I was a little bit concerned, only because I was hearing something interesting in my car, but it seems like the sound has gone away. That's why I was a little bit quiet there. But let's talk about these two things, all right? So last night I saw Lilo and Stitch. I saw the remake, the 2025 remake, and I gotta say, it was really, really amazing. Okay, I've never seen the original Lilo and Stitch, and if I have, I truly have forgotten everything about it. But I do remember a couple of clips, the whole thing with like Ohana means family, that's like a very popular clip, and then some other clips I've seen on YouTube. But last night seeing that movie was such a joy. Really, that's the best way to put it. Now, I've been making a lot of Disney content recently, and it's funny because I just saw a YouTube video about this guy talking about Disney adults, and him saying how, like, you might be a Disney adult if you go to the parks at least more than once a year and you watch Disney movies. And I'm here thinking, like, man, I went on a Disney cruise. I'm going to go to Disney twice more this year. I just saw Lilo and Stitch. I'm going to make a YouTube video about it above all things. But truly, it was a really good movie. I liked it because, first and foremost, it was just a classic, wholesome Disney movie. And apologies for my, let's say, word choice here, but it wasn't a woke Disney movie. That's something that I do like, and honestly, that's an opinion that I have, and that's how I truly feel about it. There have been a lot of woke Disney movies. Lilo and Stitch was not a woke Disney movie. It was just a classic, wholesome Disney movie. There was like some emotional tearjerker moments in there. There was some happy moments in there. There was like good comedy. That was something I was not expecting, but the movie was actually pretty funny, and the comedy I thought was like, it was good. It was subtle comedy. It wasn't anything too crazy. It didn't go above and beyond. And the actress, especially that played Lilo, I was telling my wife, I feel like she's gonna go places. I think this may have been her first movie, and man, what a role to land. Your first movie being a Disney movie. But because I remember in the credits it said introducing her name, I forget what her name is, but she's a phenomenal actress. And you can tell a lot of people in the audience resonated heavily with her. Anytime she was on screen, whether for the fun parts or the sad parts, the happy parts, she just killed it. And I feel like her interaction with Stitch and sort of her wit and cleverness really took her a long way. So I told my wife, I said, she's going places. And it'd be interesting to see if she's either cast in other Disney movies or TV shows or just in any other movie in general. But good, very good casting for her. And above all, I mean, the rest of the cast was really fun too. So it was just like a fun movie to watch. And we also watched it in a theater that we started frequenting recently. So I don't know if there's this theater here in Florida called iPic. I don't think it's just a Florida thing, but I happen to live close to a couple of these iPic theaters. And these iPic theaters advertise themselves as one of these, luxurious theaters where you have a big seat, you have the nice comfy blanket, you can sort of tap this button to go and get drinks and food. And I used to love going to this place. I mean, it was like my first choice for a date night, and I would always go to this place. But after a while, like one day my wife suggested that we go to this new place. It's called Cinemark. And one of the reasons that we went is because of the topic I'll talk about next. They were showing a movie from Studio Ghibli, I think, or maybe we saw like an indie movie that we wanted to watch. And we went there, and it's pretty much about the same thing. It's not as luxurious, but it's still very clean. You can get drinks, you can order food. If you order ahead of time on the app, they'll actually deliver it to you, but they'll only do that delivery once. There's no button that you can click to get subsequent deliveries. But, you can still leave the theater and get food whenever you want. So we started going there. We went there once, and then the more and more that we went, we realized, hey, we actually like this theater a lot. Not only is it cheaper, but I think it has more of that classic theater vibe without being too far on the other side of the spectrum where it's just like kind of dingy theater. So it was just fun being there. And they offer these really cool seats because they'll have I guess the regular seats that are just one per person, and then they have these balcony love seats. The very interesting thing about this location is it almost looks like it used to be a studio at some point. I mean, it's massive enough that the seats are almost like stadium seating. They'll have the normal theater seats plus balcony seats, and on these balcony seats they have these love seats that you can just sit next to your partner or a friend or whoever, but you get that intimacy, right? So it's pretty cool. We got the balcony seats. We had a great time. The theater itself, even a week after it coming out, was fairly packed, and you can tell people just had a really good time. So if you're on the fence about watching Stitch, I can't say I was on the fence, but I don't know, I probably maybe wouldn't have gone unless I think my wife pushed me a little bit. I was on the Disney Wish cruise line just a week ago, and they were actually airing it on the ship the day it came out. And while I was out drinking with some of her family members, she actually went to go watch the first 20 minutes of the show with some of her other family members, and she told me, she said, hey, it's a good movie, just those first 20 minutes, we should see it. So very glad I saw it. So that's about a wrap on Lilo and Stitch. The next thing I want to talk about is, let's talk a little bit about anime. So I'm not like an anime, let's say, buff. I don't really know too much about anime, but growing up, my brother was very into manga and anime, and some of the ones that I just remember off the top were like Naruto and Cowboy Bebop and Trigun, One Piece. My first email ever on Hotmail was Luffy416, or Luffy, however you pronounce it, Luffy416, 416 for my birthday, at hotmail.com. That was my first email ever, and I was I thought the character was just very cool. Never saw the Netflix adaptation, but growing up, especially when you're a younger brother, you look at the things that your older brother does, and it just makes you excited. It makes you want to do the things that he's doing because, well, I mean, he's the brother, right? He's the older sibling, let's say. So through me watching him read the mangas and get into the animes, I sort of tried, but never really got too deep into it. And that was until last year, maybe 2 years ago, where Cyberpunk Edge Runners came out, and so here's the thing. I fell in love with Edge Runners, and I thought it was amazing, especially just having played the game. I've replayed Cyberpunk many times, but just the tie-in with the game that I think is phenomenal. I really enjoyed that series, and I guess you can say I sort of fell in love with anime again, even though I hadn't actually watched any anime after that. But I got my wife into it, and the interesting thing about my wife is I don't think she had really seen anything up until that point. And I recommended it to her because I thought the music was cool, and she fell in love with Edge Runners and the whole story. I actually bought her a pin of Lucy, which I'll put a picture up here. I bought her a pin of Lucy for her birthday a couple of years ago, or maybe as a stocking stuffer during Christmas. It was just a cool pin, and you'll see it. I'll put it up. And she loved it, and she has it on her work desk now. But the cool thing is that led her to want to watch more anime, and I think it really resonated with her, especially the Studio Ghibli animes, because of how wholesome they are. My wife is there's this I guess aesthetic called cottagecore, very simple, very relaxed, very easygoing, and she's sort of into that. So she fell in love with the Studio Ghibli animes, and she found out that there's something called Ghibli Fest, which is an annual festival that they do, that I guess they show some of their top movies across maybe the US or maybe internationally at different theaters, different participating theaters. And it just so happens that the Cinemark Theater is one of these theaters. That's another reason we fell in love with it, because they tend to show more of these like indie style films, ones that you couldn't find at iPic. iPic has a very small selection of films, and it's something that you do get when you go to Cinemark. So after being, scouring around for Ghibli Fest, we ended up finally finding the dates this year, which I'll put up on the screen, and now our hope is we want to challenge ourselves to watch all of them. And we already failed that challenge because the first one, Kiki's Delivery Service, was last month, and we missed out on that one. But I hope to get the next one, which if I remember off the top of my head, is I think The Story of Arietta, maybe something like that. But we hope to be able to watch most of them this year and just have a good time doing so. So if you're someone that's into anime and you want like an easy way or even if you're not into anime, you want to get into it, I think this Ghibli Fest is an interesting way to do it because it gives you a roadmap to do it, and you're almost guaranteed to watch really good animes because they're from this amazing publisher or producer animation studio called Studio Ghibli. So I highly recommend that if that's something you're interested in, to go to Ghibli Fest, check out the movies that are showing on the graphic that I put up, and just see how it is. You know, if it's something that you like, then go for it. That's, again, a challenge that we're doing for ourselves, and we're very excited to do so. Lilo and Stitch and Ghibli Fest. Lilo and Stitch was great. Ghibli Fest is a great way to get into anime if that's something that you're into. And I guess the last thing we'll talk about here is I'm on my way to Miami. And I'll put a video clip of me getting it, but you know when I'm there, just like the last video I made, I'm going to go ahead and get some cafecito from the same place, Rinconcito Latino, in Kendall this time. Last time I was in Calle Ocho, this time I'm going to Kendall. Very excited to get some coffee there. I haven't eaten anything all day because I sort of use the weekends to fast a little bit in the morning because I feel like on the weekdays, since I go to the gym, it's like more important that I get my protein in the morning, but on the weekends, I don't go to the gym, Saturday, Sunday. So I like to fast to kind of help me control my calories a little bit more. So I haven't eaten anything, completely fasted. I just had a coffee this morning. That was around 9 a.m. Gonna go and have another coffee now. I'll probably get to Miami around 1 o'clock. So I'll be sure to enjoy that. And then when I get to my aunt's house later, she is going to be cooking up some amazing rice. She's very good at making rice. And they actually requested that we get this cake that I got for my birthday last year. I keep saying last year when I mean last month, right? Because it's still May. I think it's still May. If not, my birthday's in April. But by accident, we got this cake that was like a cheesecake, and they requested that I order it. So I'll break my fast with some of this amazing arroz con pollo, chicken and rice, with some of this cheesecake. And, as long as you can still enjoy yourself on a calorie deficit. Like I know we sort of switch topics here, but you can enjoy yourself in a calorie deficit. Just don't overeat. Like I'm gonna get a serving of rice and chicken. I'll eat a good amount, nothing too crazy. I'll have a little bit of cake and then just enjoy the rest of the day. Make sure I'm still walking around, being active, doing my thing, and I think it's just gonna be a great time. So glad I was able to make this video. I'll film some other clips here and there, probably throughout the day, of me getting this coffee. It's fun to just sprinkle that stuff in. And I think that's it. So a Saturday video for you all if you all like this content. Let me know what you guys all want to talk about next. I mean, as you can tell, I've sort of rebranded myself a little bit. I think my channel description now, and I say I think because sometimes I just put it up there and I forget. It's spontaneous takes from my brain to your screen. And that's kind of what the channel's about now. I'll be just sprinkling things in that I want to talk about, really anything stream of consciousness style. So if that's the sort of thing that you're into, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, all that fun YouTube stuff. And yeah, without further ado, I'm going to go enjoy this drive, probably listen to some podcasts, listen to some music, and I will see you all very soon in the next video. Take it easy. Later.